Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. We're going to be talking about the stimulus money going out to the small and medium-sized businesses and what people are saying about that. And also we're going to talk about a city commissioner who's been under fire because she got, someone saw her at the protest at the Michigan State Capitol, and the mayor of Royal Oak is asking her to resign. So we'll talk about that. And plus we can't forget about Mayor de Blasio's photograph and snitch on your neighbor. So let's get into it. Welcome, Lloyd. How's everybody? How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just saying hi to some of the people in the chat and doing about 6 things at once, which means I'm going to screw something up probably, but I'm trying. I'm doing good.
Great. I want to say hi to Jaybird, Chris Hope, Mike Roach, and this grumpy vlogger guy.
Yeah. I hear that idiot's actually running for president. I mean,
yeah,
what's he thinking? I know.
So let's jump into our first topic. So I got my stimulus check this week. Pretty excited. Paid off a bunch of bills and doing pretty good. And a lot of businesses got their stimulus money, and then it turns out Treasury's out of money. Small businesses like our friend Sean Oz are really having a hard time trying to get money for their business so they could keep their business afloat. So I don't know if you've been seeing this meme going around on Facebook where people are complaining that Ruth Chris Steakhouse got $30 million, and people are like outraged that they should get all that money. Now I have to remind these people that, hey, that money goes to their employees. It doesn't go right into their bank account. Well, it does, but they have to pay. That money is only for their employees.
Yeah, and that's they've got 2 choices on this. The way that's going to work, they're either going to pay it to their employees, or they're going to furlough those employees, and then they're going to have to. Those employees will have to get unemployment. Either way, this is keeping a business open as best they can and keeping people on the payroll so that their insurance will be paid and stuff like that. And Ruth Chris Steakhouse are not, it's not Taco Bell.
Yeah.
They're better quality restaurants. People that work there, they're going to have a probably better, I don't know. Taco Bell may have great retirement program. I just can't imagine it, or McDonald's, but still, and I'm not knocking Taco Bell because I want to talk about them a little bit, but about this whole COVID-19 thing and how they're taking things about it. But anyways, they got to pay these people, or they're going to go on unemployment. And this company goes under. Guess what? Those people are unemployment for 42 months or longer until they can find a new job. Mm-hmm. This is keeping those business open. And the left, see, that's the thing. They don't want this to succeed. they haven't, personally, I think that they probably paid for the COVID-19 to be brought over here. Just an opinion, not the opinion
That's
of
the
this
opinion of my
channel.
co-host, not of this
Yes.
channel. So you are
Full
absolutely
disclaimer.
right. Chris, they employ 5,000 employees, and
Yeah.
you're right. If they go under, those people are out of a job because their work is more, well, especially the chefs, because these are top-notch people, and they hire
Yeah.
top-notch people to work there. Their wait staff, their bus staff, their prep
Yeah.
staff. But here's the other thing, because I mentioned this on Facebook, or I responded to someone's posting, and I told them about, well, that money goes to the employees, and then this person shoots back saying, well, they got $10 million more than they need to. I'm like, dude, they've got rent on all of those buildings that they own, or
Yes.
they're renting from, and they
Right.
got to pay light, heat, and electricity for all those places.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they can't go totally dark. Otherwise, I mean, they still got to have power for refrigeration. And top it off,
Yeah.
how about all that food that's spoiled now? Because
Right.
it's been
I mean,
sitting
even if
in
it's
the,
in refrigeration and all that,
Yeah.
it's going to be past its expired date. So they
Yep.
got to throw it all out and restock. Yeah. And anybody with any
anyway,
yeah,
like,
I got caught. Anybody with any common sense would understand that's what it takes to run a business. Let's see. We were want $5,000 a lot to small businesses, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. That's it's bad that they're out of money, for that segment. But there's going to be, because if I understood this stimulus program, it was not just a one. It was supposed to be a 2 or 3 phase
right.
plan. So they'll be coming back and kicking more in as, the problem will be is if the Democrats are going to hold up the money because they want Nancy Pelosi to get more ice cream.
Yeah, that's right.
They
I
might.
saw that when she was on John Corden's show. I thought, man, she's got
Yeah.
double wide refrigerators and it's stocked with chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
heard one guy call him, it was over on Fox News. Who was it? Gutfield
Yeah.
called him the butt kisser of late night comedy.
Yeah. I saw that. As a matter of fact, I
Called
posted,
him that. Called John Corden that.
Yeah. I
Do
posted
it.
that on my Facebook page. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I love
Okay. Yeah.
Greg
Yeah.
Gutfeld.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to say hello to
He's
Steve Carpenter, Mike B, aka the Drone Ranger, Carlos, back from the sky, and who else?
we got Steve Carpenter, Mike Roach, Mike B, Jay Bird.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike Roach is in
Steve
here.
Carpenter,
Yeah, Chris
okay,
Hope, you
yep.
said that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think, and then the grumpy vlogger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, Carlos says it right there. It's not like people are going to be running out to get on a plane. Hey, if we're in phase 1 now, we can step outside our house. Let's run and get a plane ticket and go to the Bahamas.
Right.
Yeah. So those airlines have got to stay afloat somehow. I mean, and here's the thing about these airlines and stuff. All right, most of the people, or 99% of the people that work at airlines, are union.
Yeah.
Now, if the Democrats want to and moan about beep and moan about the uh, stimulus package going to these places like that to keep them open. Well, they're hurting their own people because unions tend to vote Democrat.
Yep,
I think that's
true.
changing. I think a lot of the unions have this. I was telling Judy today, we were talking about this. I said, in some ways, this is it is the worst thing that happened to our world, our country.
Yep.
And it's the best thing. It's really opened the eyes to a lot of people. And, it's terrible that we had to have this, but now we understand what the Who, and I'm not referring to the band, is all about. We finally taken, looking at China and said, yeah, these are bad players, and the Democrats are really showing their cards all out. This was their chance to jump in and, make socialism work. And all they've done is tick off everybody.
Hey, what a better way to show people what socialism is all about than, hey, this lockdown. I mean, this is a prime example of socialism. I mean, look at the grocery stores where you got a lot of shelves that are empty. That's what this country would be like if we went totally socialist. We'll be told where we could go, when we could go, what jobs we could have. There's going to be all kinds of restrictions.
Look what China did to some of their own people. Yeah, look what China, which is communist, and look what they did. They actually welded some of the people in their own apartments.
Wow.
Yeah. And there were they found people that, when they came back, because the person had violated, this guy had a sick wife, and came back, and he was in there with, he was alive, but his wife wasn't. She didn't make it, And, and this stuff is being, there's a, one of the Free China groups that has managed to slip a lot of this stuff out, make us aware. That's how we found out, that's why we're finding out so much more about what happened in China and this whole virus thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, and look at, that segues into what I was talking about with the mayor of New York City.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got that snitch on your neighbor deal where they've got an app on the phone where you can take a picture of someone violating curfew or the
or social distancing.
Yeah, social distancing.
Large groups, any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually a text number. Some of your local radio stations have text that you can text for weather, and they'll send you a weather update and stuff. He set up a text, and it will be, as soon as it's answered, you snap the picture, send it in, and then he'll send it to the appropriate authorities to go fine and or break up those crowds. That is Marxism, socialism, communism, and fascism all rolled up in one right there. And
so if you see a black van heading your way, run!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like I say, if you see me running, you better run too, because that's I'm not running for my health.
Yeah. And which goes into another topic about this city commissioner in Royal Oak, Michigan, who was asked to resign because she was caught, well, not caught, but someone saw her at the protest at the Capitol this week, where people drove to the Capitol, and basically the big thing was it was called, and they're going to do the same thing here in Denver this afternoon. It's probably going on right now, where people are just going to drive down to the Capitol and just drive around the Capitol. That's it. But there are some people that got out of their cars and they went up to the steps of the Capitol, and they're protesting. So now the mayor of Royal Oak wants this person to resign, and it's like, wait a minute. I mean, what about our First Amendment, our right to protest or bring about a grievance to the government?
Yeah.
That's what protesting is about. And,
yeah.
and
It's
really scary. That governor of Michigan, she's a whack job. I mean, she won't even let people buy seeds for their garden.
Yeah, I've been catching little bits of the stuff she says, and I just, I shake my head like, is she brain dead?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what you get with socialist Democrats. This is what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, they don't deem buying seeds as essential. And I'm like thinking, how about growing your own food, maybe? That'd be a good thing during this time, where you get your garden going out back,
Yeah.
It's not like you're out mingling with other people. You're working on your own property. And that also takes us. That's the same governor that won't let you go to your own other property to make sure everything is going okay there, or to stay at your cabin where you're well away from people and you're not going to spread the virus.
Yeah, she's Steve just put up, Jaybird said that Lansing's had a protest on Thursday, and Steve put up that she's that way because she's on the short list for the Biden's VP. Hey, yeah, great.
Wow.
That's just exactly who he needs to pick. Guaranteed. Trump will win, and I'll come in second.
Yeah.
Because if he has that kind of a ticket, even I got a chance of picking up a couple of votes. Oh, yeah. It's just gotten to the point where it's just the lunacy. It's like like you said about a garden. During the Depression, into the Depression, going into World War II, they grew victory gardens because the food was being used to support the troops, and Steve said that was funny about me picking up a few votes. Even I could beat Biden. Yeah, it's that would be hilarious. But the victory garden was a big thing during the war, both here and over in England, because they had rationing and stuff so that people could grow their own food. That's taking the strain off of the government and the food industry that's needing to that's needing to do what they got. They got to do what they got to do, because, and that's the other thing, we still got troops out there that's needing taken care of. We got, and it's just, they're crazy. They're just, somebody like her that's what they deserve. They voted her in.
If she's not recalled, I think she will be defeated in this election, unless, if I'm not wrong, she was probably elected in 18, so she's got until 2022 before she has to run for re-election. And if that's so, hopefully she will be recalled, and that the Michigan State Assembly will get replaced with Republicans, because what had happened in 2018 is a lot of these state assemblies, they were Republican when Trump first got elected, and then they flipped during the midterms. And I think what'll happen is people got a belly full of what real socialism is like, And
Yeah.
I think in November there's going to be a huge red tide headed towards a lot of these state assemblies and tickets on down. So that'll be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I was saying, telling Judy, and, this is the worst thing that could have happened to our country and our world right now as far as the way it has affected humanity.
Mhm.
But the way it has brought so many of us together, this is sort of
Right.
like, well, 9/11, but let's hope this time we don't let it turn into just a holiday we celebrate once a year, and somebody
That's
gets
true.
out, makes a speech every so often, and few people protest, and let's not make it that. Let's remember that this is a year that we could lose everything if we don't play this right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right. That's right.
this could be the end of our country as we know it.
Mm.
If and our world the way and
Mhm.
I saw that Steve said that the beaches in Huntington Beach are all the beaches were opened yesterday, so we're starting to come back into that.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Uh,
good.
yeah,
And I think the
and
Democrats are really hurting themselves by holding up legislation by adding a lot of their liberal garbage in there that has nothing to do with the stimulus package. They're the ones that
well,
limited
yeah,
the size of the stimulus package for small businesses. And that's why it
right,
ran out of money so quickly. So
yeah,
hopefully
yeah, because
this next round will help the smaller businesses, like our friend Sean and those folks.
Sean, yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
Steve says that's the only city in the state. Okay, well, yeah, yeah. I touched a little bit about. I made a running reference about Taco Bell. I broke out again yesterday and snuck out while my boys weren't paying attention and could see me
Right.
leaving the house. And I put on my mask and my gloves and all that stuff. And actually, no, that was Friday. I broke out yesterday.
Oh, is
too,
that
but
where
it
you
was
went
Friday.
to Freddy's?
No, well, no, I went to Freddy's earlier in the week, but actually, yeah, but and I haven't posted these videos, but I went to Taco Bell because we're getting tired of everything in our house. I can only cook things so many ways, and
Right.
I was like, God. And I started finding out I've got to restock a lot of my canned goods.
Yeah.
I thought, we're okay. It's like, oh my God, this expired when? Chunk.
Yeah.
It's like when you really need it, it's like, oh crap. Anyways, so I was real impressed because, when I went to Freddy's, they were wearing gloves, but they weren't wearing masks. But I wear my mask and my gloves, and I
Right.
take the sack, and then I take the glove off. I make sure I wash and everything, pull the food out, and before take it out of the box and or the wrapping, because
Right.
they're wearing gloves too. But
Yeah.
when I went to Taco Bell, they wore gloves, they wore a mask,
Uh-huh.
which impressed me. And of course, I had my mask and gloves on,
Right.
and they put everything in the sack. One person handles it, and they put it on a tray that's sitting there. They pick the tray up. First they get your money, you hand it to them, and they take it, put it in the cash register, and then the food is put on a tray. The tray is lifted, put out to you. You take it off the tray, so there's no contact with the people. You put it in there, then they take the tray and spray it down, and it's ready for the next order to go
boy.
out. And that's pretty good for Taco Bell, part of the KFC franchise,
Right.
and I
Now,
guess it's
did
Mexican chicken.
did they
I
have
don't
the
know.
plexiglass that came down part way on the window?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Oh,
But they
at
didn't have their mask on,
McDonald's,
so
they have that on both windows. They have a plexiglass that comes down, and there's just enough room to hand you your change or your credit card back. And then when you go to pick it up, it's just
Right.
uh, high enough to where they can hand you your bag of your food that you got.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
that
that's.
was
I mean, at least they're taking precautions. But
yeah.
I was just real impressed that they were doing that. Saw Carlos says, but his bank won't even allow you to wear sunglasses. Yeah. Well, I can go to the ATM, get my money out. So,
Hmm.
or through the drive-through, and uh, and you go through the drive-through and you go on the outer lanes, and they're not going to be worried about whether you're wearing or not because they're going to understand. So.
Hmm. Yep.
So you can always do it that way. But
And
anyways,
where else did I
so
see? Oh, I know. Well, I went to the post office last week. I noticed they've got it looks like a clear shower curtain that comes down part way from the ceiling on down when you go to
right,
deliver a package, and it's just high enough to where you can slide your package under there. And I thought, boy,
right,
these
right,
people are really going to town. Now, then they weren't wearing masks, but I imagine the next time I go, which is tomorrow, to mail Ray Kelly's prize they won last night on Art Drone
oh, okay,
Solutions, and I bet you they'll probably be wearing masks. Our governor here in Colorado has asked people to wear masks when they go out, and you know, I think that's a little overkill, but I don't go out that much anymore. The only time I go out is to, like I said, go get dinner or lunch at McDonald's or whatever fast food, and to go to the grocery store
right,
to pick up some food or some things that I need to make lunch or dinner.
yeah.
So,
I think I think masks may become sort of like they are in Japan. You know,
yeah.
they've been wearing masks for years, even
Oh,
before
yeah.
the
They've
bird
been
flu
doing
and all
that
that stuff.
since
It's a
the
social thing with them.
60s or earlier
Yeah,
than that. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize it. I thought they started doing it when the avian flu broke out. You know,
Hmm.
but then somebody started, and so I started going back and looking and realized, well, these people have been wearing masks forever. And it may become that around here. I know when Judy and I have to go somewhere with her, a lot of times she'll have a mask on
Right.
simply because, you know, especially if we're going to the Cancer Institute or something like
Right.
that to
Right.
have x-rays and stuff like that.
Hmm.
They really push the mask thing because, man, those
Yeah.
people are, like the doctor told us once about the way they treat cancer with chemo is they take you to the edge of death and then
Yes.
bring you back.
That's right.
In other words, they kill off every cell in your body and then try and get you back before it, you
Right.
know, succumbs.
Hmm.
And
Because, well,
I'm not
the
having
cancer.
buffering, but there was a little bit of buffering in the early part.
Yeah. Yeah, because cancer, the cancer cell survives by feeding off blood. It gets its nutrients from the
Right.
the blood, and the way to kill cancer is to uh, send poison throughout the body, and whatever cancer
Right.
cells there are, they get a taste of that, and it kills the cancer cells. But downside, it kills a lot of healthy cells as well, and mainly the white blood cells and the T cells, which I think are both the same thing. And that lowers your immunity, and especially people
Yeah.
who just
Yeah.
had bone marrow transplants or even
Right. Especially.
organ transplants. They have to take
Yeah. Same thing.
Rejection medication, which lowers their
Right.
immune system, because that's what kills a lot of people that have gotten transplants, because they see
Right.
this
It's the
new
infections.
organ and they go, "What's that? Hey, that's
Oh,
a
right,
foreign body. We got to go after it."
Yeah. Yeah. And you would think this has been going on they've been doing organ transplants for 60, 70
Yeah, about
years now.
60 years.
Six,
Kidneys
about
were the
60
first
years.
thing. Yeah.
Kidneys were the first.
Yep.
And you would think by now they would have figured a way to, especially with today's technology, you'd have thought they'd come up with something that was, I don't know, better.
Well, they're getting there.
A better, yeah.
They've got better
Yeah, the kidneys, of course,
anti-rejection medications that have fewer side
Yeah,
effects, that causes fewer damage to the immune system. Yeah.
Right.
And even cancer
The
treatment.
criteria for, cancer treatment is, well, it's like with Judy, she had that cyberknife, and
Right.
which it's not really a cyberknife, it's pinpointed radiation, but
Right.
it's done in such a way that it's targeted to such a minute spot, and that's the only spot that gets touched. And so yeah, they've come up with some, because killed off her cancer, and both of them, because she's had it actually, the one that actually metastasized and moved to another organ, and they were able to get that quick and stop it, even though it passed through the blood. It was, knock on wood, she's coming up on, I know she's on 7, going on maybe 7.5 years now.
Wow. That's good.
So
That's good.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
As long as it doesn't get to the lymph nodes, that's kind of like the highway for cancer to spread. My dad
Yes,
had,
and yeah, well, like hers did get to the lymph node on her lung, but the lymph node happened. There's a lot of different lymph nodes,
Right.
Okay, and there's some that are, and the one that was right next to the cancer cell was the one that got hit, and they surrounded it with those markers,
Right.
which are made out of gold, and they put them in there, and then they pinpointed the lymph node and the cancer cell at the same time.
Good.
And they got it,
What?
So even it depends on, of course, she had is it large cell or small cell? Like, I always get those, which ones. She had the slower progressing of the and I think it's the large cell is the more aggressive.
Right.
I can't remember now.
Oh, the small
anyways,
cell.
she had the,
yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's two different types, especially in the lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the adenocarcinoma was her type, and they got a type for everything. I mean, there's not a cell in your body that doesn't have its own special type of cancer.
Yes.
But
And
so, anyways,
now, was she a smoker?
was and still is.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
My mom was a smoker, and that was her primary cancer, and then she had a brain tumor that was
Right.
the secondary. And
Yeah.
when we found out about that, and they did radiation treatment on her, and she was gone 6 weeks later. Yeah.
Yeah, if we were actually very lucky with Judy that they caught it so early.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
mean, it was extremely early. It was just by accident. She was having problems with one of her medications that was dropping her blood pressure. So we took her. She'd been in the hospital here in Muskogee, and she'd been in for 2 days, and they did these x-rays and everything, didn't find anything, but they said it was, got her blood pressure back up. And she gets out, and the next day her blood pressure drops again. And it was because of a medicine. We'd taken her off of it, so the home health care nurse just called the ambulance, and we transported her up to Broken Arrow, to Tulsa.
Right.
And they put her in the hospital up there, we took her to the ER at that hospital, and
Right.
doctor comes out, they did a scan, he says, no, she's still having effects of that medicine. He says, but, because they want to make sure, they took it of her heart to make sure she didn't have an open bleed or something in the heart, it's causing her blood pressure drop. They said, yeah,
Right.
heart's good, looking good and everything, I think it's the medicine. Probably need to get that cancer checked in your lung, but other than that, you're good.
Mm. Yeah.
Do what? Yeah. Bedside manner of a rock. I would have smacked that guy. But you just don't walk in and say, oh, probably like it was a hangnail or something, or ingrown hair. Yeah, I need to get that cancer checked out. Like, really? That's the way you approach it? What the heck are you talking about? But anyways, idiot or not, he found it, and we caught it early, and it's by accident, and we were able to get rid of it.
Right.
So. Mm-hmm. And she has really reduced from what she was smoking then to what she's smoking now. She's not only reduced the amount of cigarettes, but she's also reduced the amount of nicotine and tar, because she's gone to the lightest stages of cigarettes she can.
Right.
She's making the right steps, but she hasn't made it there yet.
Yeah.
When you've been smoking for 50 years, it's hard to
Both
quit.
My parents were smokers. They quit off and on. Now, my dad had prostate cancer, and they treated that with hormone treatments. And that's how you do it with prostate, because there are certain hormones that cancer doesn't like, and it kills off that cancer. Well, he was in remission for several years, and they also did some radiation on him, and somehow that touched off his emphysema, so he was on oxygen for the rest of his life after that. And then one day he broke his hip, and then they discovered cancer came back, and it's in his bones. So we got him. We went to one nursing home. He hated that, and then we applied for a VA nursing home, and we got him into Fitzsimmons. He loved that place. It was a much nicer place, clean, well run. Less than 48 hours, he was gone.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my mom passed away 8 years after he passed away. So.
Yeah, I lost my mom 3 years after my dad died.
Right.
He died of renal failure, but initially started out he had prostate cancer.
Right.
And he ended up, but his kidney started failing, and it started affecting him. Plus, he had dementia. And we put him into a veterans nursing home, and it was clean, it was good, it was nice. Some of the family got together and decided to sue my mom for his custody, and we ended up finally the VA stepped in and says no, nobody's going to be his caretaker but his wife, and they dropped it, but we agreed to bring him to a nursing home here, and he lasted about 3 months.
Right.
And all this family that was raising a ruckus never bothered to go visit him.
Wow.
They said, well, we can't go visit him up there, it's too far away. Yeah, bullcrap. They just wanted a couple of them wanted control of the money.
Yeah, that's true. That's sad. How
World War II, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So let's get on some happier stuff. We had our state assembly yesterday. Now, also yesterday, as a tribute to the first responders, the Thunderbirds overflew the Front Range. So it was cloudy yesterday, so I didn't really see them. I stayed indoors, but I sure heard them. No, boy, when
Did you?
they flew over, I heard this rumble, and I go, "That those aren't race cars. Somebody racing down Sheridan. Those are that's I know the sound of jet fighters because when I used to live
Oh yeah,
in Aurora,
yeah.
I lived just a few miles from Buckley, and they would do a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
touch and
yeah,
go landings with the F-16 fighters, and
yeah.
I knew the distinct sound of the rumble of these were F-18 Hornets that they flew, and boy, they
Right.
just zoomed right over. And I think what they did is they
Yeah,
went up
yeah.
towards Greeley, and then they went towards Fort Collins, and then southwards down the Front Range to Colorado Springs, because it was
Oh
also
yeah.
the graduation ceremony at the Air Force
Or
Academy.
the Air
So,
Force Academy. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Vice
That's right.
President Pence was there to give the commencement speech.
Oh,
So our
well, good,
illustrious
good.
governor greeted him at the airport wearing his Colorado mask that he had, and the vice president didn't have a mask on, and so I think that was an opportunity for our governor to kind of, make the vice president look bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the thing is, here's the thing. This is probably the most active vice president. He knows how to delegate. He knows how
yeah,
to get things done. He also knows how to make the hard decisions. But, you know, uh, having a vice president that is active is Pence. You know,
hmm
I, I mean, you didn't see it with Dan Quayle.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
you didn't even see it under Reagan. You didn't even see it with uh, Bush 41. You know, it's like, and
Oh, you
I
didn't.
can't remember, huh?
You definitely didn't see it with
Well, because
Obama and Biden.
no, matter of fact, they 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 brought Obama out for a certain occasion, or I mean, Biden out for certain occasions. He kept sticking his foot in his mouth, so they put him back. It's like,
hmm
do not break glass in case of unless as soon as he got his, if he picked a good vice president, they would have impeached him.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah,
Isn't it
Biden's
funny how 20 years ago the media loved Trump? I even saw some photographs
yeah,
floating around where Kathy Griffin had her arm around Donald Trump. You know,
oh yeah, yeah,
it just said he
yeah.
just picked the wrong
Of
party
course,
to
20
run
years
for
ago,
president, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now he's a racist scum of the earth.
Right. Yeah. It's like Jim Boyd, my running mate, says. He's not a politician. He's a businessman, and that is what we need.
That's right.
And they've been talking in here about China and the COVID-19.
hmm
Uh, you know, uh, they, in the chat they've been talking about it, and I agree. I think China's going to. This actually has put China in the right light. The fact that why were they even messing with that stuff in the lab? Trying to make the United States look bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think they did. They
I
wanted to kind of hurt our economy and not thinking that hey, we're kind of the world's engine uh, for the economy because if we go down, it sets up a
so does
domino effect around the world. I mean,
yeah,
look at what happened in
yeah,
1929 when the stock market crashed here. It sent out ripples all over the world,
yeah,
especially in
yeah,
Europe and then in Asia. Yeah. hmm So, like
yeah,
I was
and
saying,
yeah,
yesterday we
it's
had our state assembly, and basically it was mainly to select delegates to the National Assembly, the GOP National Convention. Where do you know where
Right?
it's going to be held?
No, I don't.
Charlotte, North
I
Carolina.
should.
Hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Is it going to coincide with no NASCAR? Will NASCAR be over by then?
I, you know what?
Isn't that
I
where the
don't know, but
Charlotte Raceway is at?
yeah. And I think the
Maybe they can have a
Democrat
race up during the
convention
weekend.
is about a month earlier. I think they're in July, late
Yeah, they're going to have it in cyberspace.
cyberspace.
I think they're going. Yeah, because well, after all, most of those Democrats are space cadets anyways. They
Yeah.
might as well have a cyberspace
That's true.
convention.
So,
I don't know. I saw.
what we
Go
do
ahead, go ahead.
is everything was all done online because of the shutdown, and I liked it because I didn't have to listen to all those boring speeches from all the candidates saying, "Hi, I'm so and so, and I want to be your delegate to the National Assembly in Charlotte, North Carolina." And so I skipped that. I already knew who I was going to vote for anyway. You got a choice. You had to pick 26 people out of 300 and something. I don't know, maybe less than that. So I went down there. Oh, and one of them was Rick Enstrom, and definitely voted for him. But they split it up. At the beginning, you're picking a chairman for our committee, for our delegates, and a chairwoman. So I made my selection there. And also the assembly, turns out our Senator Cory Gardner is being challenged by a Republican. And I think this person probably got less than 10% support out of the assembly, unless she goes of the way of petitions, because she can petition on the ballot, but that's going to be very expensive, and there's not going to be a whole lot of time to do it because the primary is in June, and with this lockdown, she's not going to have a whole lot of time to gather the necessary signatures on her her petition to get on a primary ballot. So I don't think she's gonna. She's just a never Trumper, someone that doesn't like Cory Gardner because, you know, he's okay. He's kind of squishy, but he's really stepped up to the plate the last couple years. So.
Oh, good, yeah. You know, and I think 90% of the problem that we had in the first 2 years of the Trump administration was the never Trumpers. They were just as much a problem as the Democrats, and it's time we got rid of those people. You know, let them switch to the party they really want, the Democrats. You know, that's where they belong. And so many good comments have been coming into the chat, you know, that about, you know, we needed right now the United States needed a businessman that knew how to run things and get it done. And he picked a great team. You know, we were talking a little earlier about the press griping about, or people, you know, the left was griping about paying these companies these big, you know, this stimulus package to keep them afloat. And I was thinking about some of the things here. I don't know if you read it today or heard about it, but I think it was the mayor of Auburn, California, former mayor. On the 13th, he posted a meme on Facebook, says, well, at least the Republicans won't have to worry about masks, and he put a picture of a guy with KKK hood on.
Oh, jeez.
You know.
Really?
Well, he was forced to resign, and today he was taken off in his plane. He was flying, and he got killed. The plane crashed, and he died.
Oh,
so,
man.
I don't know. 6 days afterwards, I haven't seen what the final report is, but he died in a plane crash, which that's sad.
Yeah,
but
that is.
The fact that somebody's got to say, all Republicans are the KKK. And,
yeah.
Personally, if my history, and this is the problem, this is why we need to teach history, but I'm pretty sure that most of the KKK were Democrats.
Yeah, they were Democrats. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Southern Democrats.
Senator Robert Byrd was the Grand Kleagle of the KKK back in the day.
Yeah, not only that,
that's right.
I think I remember Hillary stating that, wasn't it Hillary that said she wished we had more people like Senator Byrd?
Yeah.
Who was it that said that at his funeral? I think it was Hillary that said that.
It might have been Hillary or Bill.
I think one of them. I think it was Hillary, and it was when Senator Byrd died, and she made that comment. And did he die while Obama was president, or was it while?
I think he did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's while she was Secretary of State, and she said it at his funeral.
Okay.
You know, and that he was a Klansman. You know.
Yeah.
But they seem to forget that. They want to poke fun and call us Republicans the Klansmen. They forget it was the Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she also said he was her mentor. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Thought I remembered that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you got to remember the Civil Rights Act, the Republicans were, 90% or more of the Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act, where the Democrats barely got over 50%. Something like that. It was some really small number. And they want to call us racist. Hey, we're the ones that got the Civil Rights Act passed. If we were really
put
racist,
Lyndon Johnson,
we would have never voted for it. Now, the thing that killed it for Goldwater, he was one of the lone Republicans that voted against the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
And because he was like one of the first true conservatives of the Republican Party. He was really about smaller government, and his reasoning was, we don't need government to tell us who we should shop at and so forth. And it's like, we're at that time, we were at a time where we needed government to kind of say, hey, enough of this discrimination. We're going to have equal rights for everybody. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And, it was the South, and it was a lot of these feelings and stuff was really the holdover from the Civil War, you know. And I live in the South, and, I understand, but, growing up in Denver, I did not realize that Colorado had such a large amount of Klansmen.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Grand Junction, that's when my eyes were open, because they had one of the largest Klan memberships there. But they had a lot of Democrats then.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Klan wasn't there actively anymore, but they had a very large, amount of Klanspeople, and now it's switched around. Things are different, but they're calling us the Klansmen. But Rick, it was Auburn, California. He was the mayor of Auburn, and he stepped down after he posted that, and or was asked to step down, and he did.
Right.
And then he was killed in a plane crash. I saw it
Wow.
just before he came on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, when did he say this? Because sometimes you get these little news flashes where they say so and so has said such and such. They might have said it in 1985,
Right.
and of course they would have called us, but they might have said it, 4 years ago, and like, okay, and so it's a big deal now. But no, this guy just resigned on the 13th of
Wow.
April, and here it is the 19th, and he died in a plane crash.
Wow.
The other
That's
person
sad.
was slightly injured but taken to the hospital. But anyways,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's crazy out there right now.
Yeah,
but I think
it
the
is.
Democrats are really.
And
Go ahead.
also, I found out I'm off this week from work, so I've got another week off of work, and who knows if I'll be back to work next week or not. So it's looking more like I'll be going back to work in early May probably. So don't know. And also Greg Gutfeld, if you saw that video, it was his response where how the Democrats and Trump critics were sniping at Trump on his plan to reopen the country. He had like
Yeah.
phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and the Democrats are all saying, well, that's vague. That's not a plan, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, I mean, he's not a king. He's just setting up criteria for when we can open up businesses, because we can't just keep these businesses closed indefinitely, because it'll wreck our economy. It's already put a huge dent in our economy. Unemployment just shot up almost overnight because of this. And basically what he's saying is, okay, the areas that had the fewest cases, they could start opening up. And then phase 2 will be, okay, the medium areas, they had the moderate amount of cases. Once they start seeing it leveling off or start declining, then they could open up. And then phase 3 will be the hardest hit areas. When they see the deaths or the cases starting to decline, then they could reopen. So it's not like he's opening up the country all at once. He's doing it in stages, in areas from the least affected to the most affected. So states like California, New York, Texas, Louisiana, they'll probably, well, I heard that Texas is going to be, they're already starting to reopen down there. So kudos on the governor there in Texas, because they got a lot of jobs there. They're the second
they do.
largest state in the union population wise. And and their economy is doing a lot better than California's economy. So
actually, Texas is second largest state, period.
Yeah.
Because they got the second largest population, and they got the second largest square footage. Alaska's got the largest square footage of land, and what is it? New York has the largest population.
I think so.
Or is it?
Yeah.
So
actually, California, because they've got 50 million people in California, and New York only has.
Does that count the ones that aren't there legal?
Yeah. Anyway, so Lloyd, we've done a little over an hour, so I think we've covered it. I just want to say hello to Ed, love my drones, Kelly. Who else popped in? Oh, Vidar. Welcome all the way from Norway. Welcome to the show. Rick Halbert. Welcome to the show. Oh, Bill, Coast to Coast Drones. Okay, great. We're up to 9 lights. Well, we could go a little bit longer.
Well, here we go. Well, actually, I'm showing 10 likes, but now it's 11.
Oh, okay.
It just went to 12.
Oh,
all right, 12
all
likes.
Right, okay, so
it's improving. I forget to like my own shows, and I forget to like the shows that I'm in. It's like I'm bad about that.
Right.
I think I forgot to like Bill's show last night while I was in there. I'll have to go back and like it. But.
Well, we mentioned earlier that we think now it's turning out that maybe this virus escaped the lab in Wuhan. So,
yeah,
this is my opinion. I think that this is the first shot of a world war started by China, because, like I said last week, there was a clause in the trade agreement that if there's a pandemic, then they could get out of this agreement. And I think that this was their way to get out of that agreement, and then they could start slapping tariffs on our goods, and they're trying to wreck our economy. And
because they got put against the wall on that trade agreement because of the here's the thing, and I've been saying this since this started, is we have got to start making and innovating things here in the United States. Now, somebody wrote in one of the, somebody put up there, but we can't compete with their slave labor and stuff. No, but as I've pointed out before, we've got a company here right now that they make paper products.
Right.
Now, those guys, they get their average wage is $24 an hour on regular time, and they get white paper,
right.
And yet they're selling. Of course, right now they're really making a fortune because they're selling toilet paper everywhere. But the point is these companies can't pay those kind of wages and serve around the United States and around the world, and they're making money. So where's the problem? And what they did is they didn't want the union to come in, which is where the problem really starts.
Yeah.
So they started paying more or less a prevailing wage, and kept the union at bay for 60 years.
Right.
And the benefits package they've got and everything is just unbelievable. And, they're not hiring people from Mexico.
No.
Now they do hire a lot of temps for certain stages that doesn't require, they get behind on something or they have an extra. Right now, they're probably hiring temps like crazy. But they're still making money. They're still paying good wages.
Right.
Even the temps are getting like $15, $16 an hour.
Wow.
$17 an hour. Yeah. Yeah. And you got to remember, now that may not sound much in California or Texas or New York City, but I live in Oklahoma, which has one of the lowest cost of living. That's one of the highest wages. Even our police officers don't get paid that much.
Yeah.
Unless you're in one of the big cities, but the small town cops, or these small precinct cops, they don't have those kind of wages. So we're talking small town America.
Those people are taxpayers, and all that money, goes into paying for infrastructures, the cops, the firemen, the hospitals.
Yeah.
All sorts of things, and people forget about that if there aren't a lot of jobs and your tax base goes down, you're not going to be able to afford all the things that keep the towns and the big cities afloat.
The road department, the sewer systems, the water systems,
Right.
all of that stuff is paid for through taxes. I pay, it's probably a little high, but I pay about $45 a month for my water, my sewer, and all of that stuff. And it used to be lower, and that's my trash pickup too. All of that's covered for $45 a month. Okay, I'd be paying triple that if we didn't have companies like that were, paying taxes into the city coffers. So, and it's not much for a bigger city, but $24 an hour for paper that you're using to wipe your backside, that's good money. I don't care who you are, especially in Oklahoma's economy. That's really good money because we're a small population, small southern state. We got one of the lowest costs of living right now. I think I went out the other day, gas was like $1.24 a gallon.
Wow.
Or less. It may have even gone down since then because even though OPEC has cut production, people aren't going anywhere. Fuel's not going, and it's
true.
Yeah.
I got my gas. What was it? The middle of this past week. I only had a half a tank, so I topped it off, thinking I better get it while it's still cheap because they cut production. And guess what? When I got gas,
it went down.
It started going back up. I mean, it
really
was the same price before this lockdown started. So I know during the lockdown it had gone down, but I haven't been driving much, so I didn't have the need to go fill it up. And then when you mentioned that OPEC decided they're going to cut production, I thought I better go top off the tank while it's still cheap. So
I would, but I put gas in the.
Yeah, go ahead. You put gas in.
I put gas in my van back when it was $1.39 a gallon, and I haven't driven enough to take it off. I mean, it filled it up. I put $20 in gas, and it filled my tank, and I haven't driven it enough to take it off the full needle yet. So,
yeah.
But yeah, gas is. Of course, we're predominantly cheaper here in Oklahoma, anyways. Our gas price.
Yeah, you have a lot less regulations on pollution standards and stuff like that. That we.
Yeah.
Here in Colorado, we're starting to become more like California because our air pollution standards are really getting tighter and tighter, and it's causing our gas price to go. It's causing everything to go up. Just the last time I bought a gallon of milk, it was up 10 cents since the last time I bought gas or milk. And I thought,
milk.
Thank you, Governor Polis and all you Democrats at the Capitol, because
well, I was just reading what Steve said. It's down to $2.56 a gallon. Steve, man, I just feel bad because before all this happened, ours was at $2.24 a gallon. Before all this crap happened, when it was, So I kind of feel bad. This is down to $2.56, and we started out lower. So that's we dropped $1 a gallon. And it had come up for, I don't know, one of the holidays, but I can't remember. They always raise it at the holidays. So, anyways, I'll stop talking because we've definitely gone over your hour, Art.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one last observation. Trump And the Republicans, what they did is they cut a lot of regulations, and the reason they did that is they wanted to have the companies come back to the United States. And the reason they left is, well, the regulations forced these companies to move overseas because it just got too expensive to work here. And one of the things that they did is they relaxed a few rules on pollution. Now, I've seen, I'm a fisherman, and I've seen a couple of these fishing channels really having a cow about this, and they're also making a cow about how there's not enough money for conservation. And I follow politics a lot, and I've been following it for
Right.
many, many years, decades, as a matter of fact. What they don't realize is that relaxation of some of the pollution standards is so minuscule that it's not going to make a really big hill of beans in the environment.
Yeah.
Because part of the reason why the regulations killed a lot of businesses is because they made the pollution regulations tighter and tighter, but the benefit was smaller and smaller, and it was very costly to the businesses. And they said, well, we can't do that. I mean, you guys are killing us. Our profit margins are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to a point where if there's a bad economy, we may be done. So a lot of companies moved overseas. So, and when I hear these fishing channels griping about it, it's like, dude, relax. It's not like they're letting people dump raw sewage in the rivers again. That's not going to happen. All it is, it's just and the difference in the pollution. You're not even going to notice it.
Yeah.
And also,
this is why.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, because of that, like you said, these standards were put on these companies. This is why you got, when you call Dell tech support, they're going, hello, how can I help you today? Because India does not have, if you guys have watched, just watch, if you can get through one Bollywood movie, look at the way things are done there. Look at some of the, it just, my God, for somebody that really was at one time very advanced and are in a lot of technology.
Right.
Most of their people live like, well, it's a third world country, and China the same way, I mean, that's why China can outdo us. They don't have to deal with these standards. So, and also, all of their stuff is run by the government, or 90% of it, So, get rid of some of these restrictions. Let these companies come back and employ Americans. If they employ Americans, the overall cost of things will start going down. Taxes get better. Our government, it's all cyclic. If you send it overseas, we're going to get stuff. But Bill Thomas, I heard they were talking. Actually, no, it was on because it's some of the guests that Bill's had on, like Ron Brown and stuff. They were talking about how long it takes to get stuff through Banggood, and some rumors say they pulled out of the United States as far as working on your drones.
Right.
That's just, so we've got to innovate. We've got to get our policies down to where companies can afford to make here in the United States. We used to be the leader of the world. Right. I mean, we sent people to the moon with what today would be called a Tandy Radio Shack computer. Actually, the TSR-80 was probably more powerful than the computer that was used to send people to the moon. If we
Yeah.
could do that,
Mhm.
why in God's name can we not, make a drone or a television or even a toaster here in the United States, and make it feasible and
Right.
and cost effective for us, because everything we make here is better for our economy. It's better taxes, more
Mhm.
people employed. It's just these people need to learn that. That's the
Mhm.
problem. So,
Yep.
and that's what else when I because of the
Uh, okay. All right. So we did over an hour, and I think we covered a lot of material today. And I want to thank all you folks that came to watch the live stream. Thank you very much. I want Ed wants to know if my RoboMaster can get me a beer. No, it can. I'm not really a beer drinker. But yeah, I like your thinking, though. I like your thinking. So I want to thank all you folks for coming to the show. Please share the show. Hit the like button. And tell all your friends about it. Tell people that, hey, there's this great conservative talk show that I've been watching, Art's Place. You ought to go check him out. You'll like him. His co-host is really good. So spread the word. Let's grow this channel. We're little by little we're growing. I want big things to come out of this channel this year. So share it out. And thank you, Ed, Steve, Mike B, Mike Roach,
Rick Albert.
Bill, and Jim Boyd, of course, your running mate.
My running mate, yeah, Vice President.
And don't
He was
forget,
complaining that his
go over to Mel's show later today. Check him out. And then after that, it's Mitch's show, Professor Mitch, and his FPVs. So check him out.
Right. Absolutely.
Everybody have a great day. We'll catch you next week with more great news from conservative with a different view. Take care, everybody, and God bless. Bye-bye.